Welcome to the Sheffield Sunday as Bill sees it meeting. This is a main share meeting, and today it is with great pleasure and much gratitude that we welcome Donna J., who's come in to share for about 40 minutes, after which we'll open the meeting for general sharing, or if you'd like to ask a question. Thank you, Donna. It's wonderful to have you here. The floor is yours.
Good morning and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Donna, and I am an alcoholic. And I'm also addicted to cocaine. I never know if I'm in an AA meeting or a CA meeting. I find myself doing a lot of service in CA lately, which I didn't even see coming, right? So when Mary was reading the traditions, I got emotional because I'm so grateful that the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous knew that what we were given was such a gift that we needed to protect it. So this is not my first time in this meeting being asked to share something from As Bill Sees It. And this time I asked Young, is there anything that, hasn't been read that, you would like me to share on? So there's a lot of uncertainty even in that because I didn't pick it. And so he chose An Atmosphere of Grace, which is also interesting because I never understood grace. Living with my mind cannot understand anything that it's not responsible for manufacturing. I would listen to the song Amazing Grace. I felt the emotion when someone like Mahalia Jackson read or sang, but I really didn't understand grace. So because of my introduction to the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, my sobriety date is August 5th, 2000, and I was in a therapeutic community before I came into the fellowship, and I came into the fellowship in 2001, and I began the program of Alcoholics Anonymous in 2001 by a woman and a man who was in Harlem. And I asked Loretta yesterday how long had she been taking people through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, and she said since 2004, and that's when they had met Joe Hawk, and they did some work with Larry Greenberg in Staten Island, and I was introduced to them in 2001. And so I say all that because this journey, our purpose, is to awaken others to their true spiritual identity and lead them back to consciousness of the union with God. That's how I was introduced to AA early on. It was not just going through the 12 steps. It was not just going through the book. But in going through the book, I realized that I have been very arrogant, that I never looked at what words meant. It's like my mind didn't even want to let me know what I didn't know. And so I would skim over things. And so when I was asked to do this reading this morning, Atmosphere of Grace, I had to look up to see what it meant. Because I'm like, oh God, I said, I'll do this, but it's like, I have no idea. And so atmosphere, being in a space where God's love, mercy, and support are continually available. So sometimes when we read spiritual literature, there are certain words that are the linchpin or the key thing. So support is continually available. Well, what do I have to bring? I have to bring regular use. So it's my being regular with what I'm doing, and I can continually get. So I see the association with those two. And then grace, man, what is grace? Unearned favor or love. So we didn't earn our seat. I didn't earn this. This life has always been available for me, but I have been living my life separate. I'm no different from the rest of the human race, that we live a life relying on self that makes us think that we're this identity of one, this entity of one, and we don't know how to connect with the rest of the world. We don't know how to connect with spirit. And so we go down this path, we go down this journey, and we get to see what's blocking us from freedom, peace, joy, happiness, and we get some relief. And then as we're doing this, and I really believe that, the willingness, the open-mindedness, and the honesty that requires us to stay on this path is not coming from our thinking mind. I think it's our desire and our seeking that connects with the spirit that leads us. Because without the spirit within, I don't think I would go through these steps. See, because my mind likes to tell me I'm not writing it right. My mind tells me it's taken too long. My mind tells me, oh, you're okay. And so thank God for the set-aside prayer. Set aside everything I think I know so I can see truth. So I had some amazing experiences where I felt like I was dying to self. I wasn't saying that term early on, but I knew that something was happening in and through me in spite of me. I knew that had happened on August 5th, 2000. The best way I can describe it is a power burst upon me that I had never felt before. In that next moment, I knew I never had to drink or drug again. And I believe that my soul, my spirit, my heart was opened. And I was able to hear what I needed to hear. I was not just listening, I was hearing. I was led to people that were leading me back to the conscious union with God. That's how my AA has always looked. But then I have this mind that doesn't want to die. And it tells me, you don't have time for prayer and meditation. All of a sudden, I was not making regular use of prayer. I started to manage better. I started to be of the world again. See, when we are one with God, we are in the world. We're not governed by the things of the world, power, money, and prestige. And all of a sudden, work became more important than my relationship with God. The relationship with the man became more important than my relationship with God. And I got real sick. Oh, God, I got so emotionally sick. It says that, we're focusing on, it's interesting about atmosphere. I always want to know what's the atmosphere going to be like when I get there. I was always worried about the external atmosphere of things, not realizing it's who I'm being. I bring the atmosphere with me. I never brought any kind of atmosphere with me because I didn't think I had anything to give. I was always thinking about what I was going to get. And so I'm not praying. And I think for me, prayer and meditation, I start seeing things intuitively. I start understanding things on a level that my mind can't take me to. And all of a sudden, I'm not really doing that. And all of a sudden, I think I need him for me to be okay. I think I need money to be okay. It reminds me of in the sex inventory when it says, if we fall short of our chosen ideals, are we going to get drunk? Some people tell us so. Well, maybe that's their experience. But see, for me, I needed to have a deep first step experience. I needed to really feel what it feels like when I stop relying on God. And so with a vengeance, I went through the work again, this time from a different perspective, from the Al-Anon perspective. And once again, I was willing to trudge. I was willing to go to any length. For those of you that live in the States, you know the distance between Harlem and Staten Island. I was taking 2 subways and a ferry to get to this woman. So I can see a deep first step experience to see that once again, my mind was trying to play my God and wanted to convince me that on my own, I'm enough. And once again, the obsession to the thing that had power over me was lifted. So we take care of our physical bodies. The thing that I don't worry about is drinking, and I don't worry about smoking. Both the obsession to drink and the obsession to smoke was lifted. But this is a threefold disease: mind, body, spirit. See, I can focus on the externals. I can worry about my health, and drinking and smoking definitely was contributing to poor health. So if God had the power to remove the thing that was killing me in both of those areas, why am I not relying on God for the things that can still kill me? It's those mental states, it's that feeling within. It's interesting, in the big book, it talks very much about this nervous disposition we have, this trembling. You know, the main problem that I have centers in my mind, but where is it originating from? See, if I feel empty inside, if I feel fear inside, if I feel that I'm not good enough inside, then I create belief systems to support that. Then I have thoughts that support that. And then I take action because of those things. But if I realize that my purpose in life is to be available for you, I have to lean into God like my very life depends upon it. I think the more and more I seek God, the more and more I'm faced with obstacles. And I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. And life as I know it will be coming to an end. I have more life behind me than I have in front. And I have to lean in. God, I trust you because I don't know what happens. You know, I'm taking this trip. I'll be gone for 3 weeks. And it's happening at a time where it's creating some financial insecurity. And I have to trust him. That God is going to find a way. Because he assigned me these speaking commitments. I didn't assign myself that. I think the way God teaches us and molds us, the good times are wonderful. I do not take the good times for granted. I'm always very grateful. But I think God teaches us through trials, through tribulations, through joy, through problems. Do I believe that grace surrounds me? I do. So the other day, I actually sat with this proposition. You know, throughout my journey, I have these propositions that I'm willing to believe that I'm okay with nothing. On one hand, it's a very scary proposition, but every time I get to that, it is such a freedom I feel that I'm okay with nothing. because that could be a reality. Everything could be taken away, and can I still be okay? But see, if I have this atmosphere of being of the world, oh my God, I can't have nothing. So I don't know. And I love the fact that I can say, I don't know. You have no idea how much freedom it is to say, I don't know. I don't know if this period of my life is to draw me closer to God, because I'm leaning in like my very life depends upon it every moment that the thought comes. And I don't know, as we move closer and closer to God, maybe the mind wants to pull us away. And my step 10, every time a thought comes that I know is not of God. And how do I know the thought is not of God? Because it's some negative emotion. I pause and I lean in. But you know what's interesting, and I don't believe that, and this is just my belief system based on my experiences. I don't think I'm responsible for the times I pause and the times I walk right smack into the behavior. Because there are times that I can get angry. Why don't I pause in those moments? And I really believe it's because I need to really experience what hatred to another person feels like. See, it's different. I used to have these behaviors and be so asleep to them. But there's some, if not all the time, I'm feeling something when I have these objectionable moments, the ones that we want to give to God in step 6. And so maybe I'm to learn compassion more deeply, love more deeply. You know, to share it with another human being. I think that it's the humility and the willingness to share it. I think when I share it with you, it's not so much that I'm sharing it with you, but it's to hear myself tell on myself so I can die to self. So I remember Lorraine, my Al-Anon sponsor, used to say, God, please crush my ego into little pieces so it's hard to build. So I feel like I'm on this journey where I'm constantly turning from this mind that still doesn't want me to be one with God. So regular prayer, and I got to tell you, I am so inconsistently inconsistent with my spiritual practice. I don't do anything the same all the time. I have a pile of books that are by my bedside. And since I got my hip replaced, now I'm just laying in bed. I prop up on the pillows and I'm in bed. And so I don't get it. I get out of bed to get the books, but I'm back in bed, very comfortable. And who knows, maybe this is a sign when we become senior citizens, that's what we start doing. We start laying in the bed doing things. Oh my goodness. And I allow my spirit to guide me in what it is that the one thing I do always say is to set aside prayer. God, set aside what I think I know so I can have a new experience with you right here, right now. And then I did my own third step prayer, and I really wish I had it in front of me because it's probably the most powerful third step prayer I have created in the 20-something years I've been here. And what I did, I took the third step prayer, and then I took the promises above the prayer in the book. And that piece is so much more meaningful. Enable me to set aside my little plans and my little designs, to let go the what and the how of how my future is going to manifest. Enable me to be free of fear so I can feel your presence right here, right now. To me, that part is so appropriate for where I am in my life as a senior member of humanity. The thing that's constant is my awareness of my responsibility. I always say that some of us enter into the gates of death But those of us in this meeting, we were pulled from that gate. We were presented with these spiritual tools that are laid at our feet. We don't have to go find them, they're laid. Do we have the humility to bend down and pick them up? That's the key. Do we have the humility to bend down and pick them up? And then we get to see the truth and the lie of who we are not. We're not separate from God. We're not separate from one another. We're no more or no less than another human being. I get to see that everything I've done in my life, all the education I got, the job experiences I've got, everything that I got, I'm now using it for my new employer, which is God. I think God enables us to have this self-will life so that we can develop our skills and our talents that He has given us. And we now use it in a spirit of service. Some of us learn that we're great orators and great writers and great musicians, great teachers, great listeners. And so we become a voice for God. But I got this other cat that wants me to doubt. Regular use of prayer. This is not a one time and done. Because, I was 44 years old, relying on self for 44 years. I've come with a lot of human opinions that were based on childhood experiences, teenage experiences, beliefs of other people. Those are not going to go away with a few set prayers. I'm so grateful that Loretta gave me the word tinge. See, we become awakened to our behaviors, right? And for me, I can feel the tinge of when they want to resurface. And they usually resurface because of somebody says or does something. There's a situation that is familiar to another situation. And all of a sudden, it's like muscle memory. My mind reminds me. That's why I'm not resentful at you, the person. I'm resentful for your behavior that is not in alignment with how I think the world needs to be and how you need to be and what I need to be okay. And whenever time I'm faced with that, I can feel. And the reason why I can feel it, because I told you most of the day I'm leaning in. And when I'm leaning in, I'm in the moment. But then there's something that wants to take me out of the moment. So my faith and trust in God is going to be tested. Is God everything? And what is it testing me with? The temptations of some old ass lie, fear, worry. And it's so easy to sit back in that stuff because it's familiar, because we've been sitting in that all our lives. It's so easy to sit back in those kinds of painful moments. But are we willing to sit in some new uncomfortable? The uncomfortability of believing that we're okay even if we don't believe it. And I have to believe with this new employer that I have, if I ask God, please, God, I'm willing to die to self so you can live life in and through me, love them through me, carry the message through me, that should really be enough for me to believe I'm going to be okay. Why would that be any different from any other employer? I go to work, I do a good job, I know I'm going to get my paycheck. I know I may get a bonus. So why do I act like God is going to desert me? Because my mind can't see God. My mind doesn't understand God. So it wants me to be leery of God. It wants me to be. But I lean in. And I can show up unprepared, not knowing what real grace is, not knowing what the atmosphere of grace is, and sit here, right now, and just open up my mouth. And I say this a lot for those of you that have heard my shares. I ain't saying nothing new I have not said before. But you know what I think when we go to these meetings and we share, look at all of the principles we're practicing. Vulnerability, honesty, openness, care, being of service. There's no ego present. But trust and believe, when I get off this meeting, my mind is going to be right back in first position and want to tell me, oh, why'd you say this? And why didn't you say that? And oh my God, you didn't get a lot of hearts and you didn't get a lot of. So I've learned to give it the hand. Ego doesn't like to be set aside. It doesn't. Mind, body, spirit. See, I'm not comfortable in just managing my life. And every time I go through the work, I get to see where I'm still managing in some areas. You know, we do this powerlessness exercise. Where am I still trying to stop doing some things? And where am I trying to start doing some things? And I'm failing miserably. And because I can't get past where I'm at, I convince myself, well, you know, it's okay. I convince myself, I don't really need that. And so it gives me the willingness to die more of self. What areas of my life do I still believe that is for me to manage? But see, I want to be one with God. That's not how I started out. Trust me. If you heard me when I started this journey, I just was so amazed at what I was finally understanding about this illness that my mind would not let me see. I was blown away. How come I'm not seeing that next time wasn't going to be different? How could I not see that people knew I had a problem, even though I was thinking I'm BSing them? I'm okay. I'm not, it's like I couldn't see the truth. And I was willing to believe that when I said, God, please set aside everything I think I know and allow me to see who I need to see that I'm resentful towards. And I was willing to believe that when I put pen to paper, that was God responding. And I was willing to believe that when things came up on the list that I knew I wasn't thinking about, I was willing to believe that that was God. I was willing to believe that God was going to protect me as I was willing to finally open up and share the things that have been keeping me in bondage. You know, it says that we learn to forget. We don't forget the situations and the occurrences, but what we forget is the shame and the guilt that we've been dragging around. My relationship with my mom was not a very loving mother. That's not changing, but there's the feelings and I don't even think about that. That's forgotten. That's what this work does. And so if God has done for me what I could not do for myself, why am I not interested in making regular use of prayer? Where most of us let up is on 10 and 11. I'm not unique in that. I'll say it. Most of us let up on 10 and 11 because all of a sudden we think we can think again. And we go back out there and we just manage them better. But trust and believe, if this share is making you feel uncomfortable, it's a good thing. If you're feeling uncomfortable because you have let up on your prayer and meditation life, it's a good thing. Because perhaps that's why I'm here to share to you. You did not. I did not. None of us have gone through the pain of misery and despair just to be okay. People were watching our path. They, like ourselves, didn't understand that was a path I had to walk. So that we can be a demonstration. Step 3, the prayer. Who should bear witness to the transformation that occurs within us so that we can be the light for the world? We can be the light for the newcomer. We do it when we make our amends. Can you imagine what we look like to people who have never seen us transformed? The last time they saw us, we were shifty, liars, cheaters, trying to get over on people. And they see us walk in the door. We look like how Ebby looked to Bill. God lets us do that for other people so that they can see, oh my God, what happened to you? And now we have the ability to have discussions with people. I love the fact in step 10 and 11, it starts using the word discussion. See, I didn't know how to have a discussion because I didn't know the truth about anything. It says our past is our greatest asset. Talk freely about what you were like, what happened, and what you're like today. It's interesting. I look at this illness I was born with in this lifetime and the people who were affected by it. Their pain and misery and despair paralleled mine. So did God use me to get to them so they can seek God? I'm willing to believe that. I'm willing to believe that my mom and dad, who were spiritually sick because of my dad's gambling and drinking and my mom's Al-Anon behavior, left me not feeling loved because they were busy focused dealing with their own selfish and self-centered lives. So I already felt that there was something missing inside of me, and you couple that with suffering the illness of alcoholism. It made me live a life like I was dying. I tried to commit suicide 10 years prior to August 5th, 2000. But see, my mind still wasn't done with great ideas on how I was going to beat the game. I still thought I had some ideas. So I did a geographic. I still had some tricks I needed to try. But August 5th, 2000, there was nothing left to try. And so I believe, I may not be wording it the way I want to word it, but when there's nothing left to try and the ego is stumped, then There's nothing in the way of spirit when spirit becomes awakened. And that's what I followed. The spirit in me. I was surrendered. The power of God, the grace was available when I stopped trying. And then we hear what we need to hear. The people are put on our path. We couldn't find the people that we're connected to today. I wouldn't have known where to find Loretta and Sydney. They didn't publicize their big book workshop in any meeting book in New York City. How did I find them? At a time when most people were not even in the big book. How do I go to a conference in my first year? Mark Houston is sharing along with Dave F. And I sat in that front row and I cried. Because I knew I was around some people, man. I get here to sit with you and I say, you know what, God, please, I'm willing to die to self so I can be one with you. And you'll hear me talk about Rashid a lot. Oh my God, Rashid would say it never gets more complicated than one, and I never really understood what he meant. And he reassured me the same way I reassure others, don't worry about catching up, you'll catch on. And I caught on. Never gets more complicated than step one. I am powerless to run my own life. Because anything I focus on, it's always something that's hard. It's going to take too long. I have a new conception about hope. It's interesting. We come in hopeless, right? And my mind will always tell me, well, don't get excited. Wait till the check's in the mail. Wait until it happens. Oh, hell no. I think there are moments in time that I am given something to wrap myself around hope. Just for that moment. And I can be hopeful. It doesn't matter if the damn thing happens or not, but in that moment, hope is a feeling. And it sucks up any negative energy. And trust and believe a lot of the things that I have hope on don't even pan out. But in that moment, what I needed was some hope. And then maybe you call me. And then you can hear the hope in me so that can transfer to you. See, these are all, not only do we discover spiritual principles. I got 2 minutes. Not only do we discover what principles are, we discover what they feel like. What a beautiful way to live life. So yes, let us make regular use of prayer so that we can get guided. Is God everything? Is God all knowledge? Is God all power? Is God all direction? If God is everything, then why am I not spending time with God? How free do I want to be? See, I know what it's like to rely on self, and I'm telling you, I got so sick. So maybe I needed to have that journey when people said, oh, you may get drunk. No, I needed to have that experience so I can double up on my relationship with God. So I want to thank you guys for having me here. I don't know. When I start crying like this, and the thing that's so amazing and so beautiful is that we feel so connected that I can cry in front of you because I feel safe with you. I never could feel safe around people. I used to wear glasses and hated wearing glasses, but at the same time, I used to hide behind them. See, now I could look at the light on my computer and look directly at you and not have any guilt, not have any shame, and just be able to just share openly to let you know, listen, my life isn't perfect. But I'm kind of grateful that my life isn't perfect because I get to lean into God the more. So sometimes I embrace these moments of insecurity because I have no place else to go but within. Thank you.